Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
What is an open secret in your profession that we regular folk don't know or generally aren't allowed to be told about? We don't actually know how general anesthesia works at the molecular level. There are theories but nothing concrete. The sheer magnitude of criminal cases that detectives have that will pretty much never even get looked at, much less investigated due to a massive lack of staffing. I hear the solve rate closed cases last year for homicides was only approximately 61% US. Which sure sounds like a passable grade. But that does mean over 1/3 of murders go unsolved. That's a lot of murderers that might be walking around free out there. Makes you think we probably need more people working these cases. All hotels have had bed bugs at one point or another. High-end and low-end hotels. What separates the good hotels from the bad ones are how they handle bed bugs once they are discovered. But if you ask the front desk if they have ever had bed bugs, they will typically lie and say no, since most people don't understand how bed bug infestations happen. Very true. I've worked in a couple different hotels over the last 10 years. Mostly upscale. All have had bed bugs one time or another. Also, bed bugs are brought in by guests. Hotels do not just have them. Your luggage will typically pick them up when traveling. This is why you should not put your suitcase on your bed. You can also get them from movie theaters, bus seats, old furniture, etc. If you see 12 different sellers for an item on Amazon, in all likelihood the total number of sellers is probably 3 to 4. All of whom have multiple names selling the same item at different prices. Dummy thermostats are pretty common. It basically works like a placebo where people feel more comfortable when they think they have control over the room temperature. It results in way fewer complaints. As a freelance ghostwriter, most of my clients are Russian or Middle Eastern men who publish 5 to 10 ghostwritten romance or erotica books a week under female pen names. They spend $10K a month and double or triple that by flooding the market. At one point one client told me he had 6 of the top 10 Regency romance spots on the paid bestseller list. The amount of salt and fat in your food. Especially at high-quality restaurants. We kept a large hotel pan full of clarified butter behind the line. It'd be empty by the end of the night. I'm a furniture upholsterer, and the amount of times other professionals just recover the old fabric and filling drives me mental. If you're paying for reupholstery, ask for progress photos. Nobody needs all that nasty old fabric hidden underneath, and it's not fair to the client as they don't necessarily know any better, nor should they have to. My mother was a furniture upholsterer and she would unstitch and unstaple the old fabric, which became the patterns and template for the new fabric. This was meticulous, so I can imagine people cut corners. I am in IT. We don't always know why the fix worked and we don't care. I work as a hardware contractor for a fairly large insurance company. Which means if someone's desk setup has something broken, I replace it and everyone's happy. We had one desk though, that pulled a ship of Theseus on me. I had replaced every part I could. And it could no longer be considered the same setup. It still didn't work, but only for the person who sat there regularly. We told her she wasn't allowed to sit there anymore due to solar flares. Late edit, a lot of people assuming it was user error. And I assure you it was not. The setup was an HP Enterprise docking station with 2 monitors connected to it that users plug their issue's laptop into. The woman's issue was her laptop would only not extend to those 2 displays in this specific space. Ley lines were our next guess. Most hospitals are actually crazy trusting about who they release dead bodies to when people die. Oftentimes I show up with just a gurney, and someone's name scribbled on a post-it note. And they just let me walk out with somebody's grandma without asking my name or getting ID or anything. The majority of regular broadcast radio shows are pre-recorded. If a DJ is broadcasting live, usually the morning shows, they still have no control over what music plays. It's all pre-programmed. They'll usually record phone requests and replay them during the voice break before the requested song is scheduled to play anyway. To make it seem like they're taking requests. When the studio is empty, all phone lines are set to busy, so no one calls and realizes there's no one there to answer. At the airlines, we generally have no idea where your bag is at any given time. It follows a chain of events to get to the right place. If it ends up missing, no one is looking for your bag. Your file gets loaded in a computer, and when your bag is eventually scanned somewhere, a person is notified to grab it before it moves on to somewhere else. This also means, if you jump to an earlier flight, there is a strong chance that your bag is going to fly on the original flight. The time is usually too little to go find it, retag it and get it to a new flight. If you jump to another airline and we have already retagged it, handed it off to a different airline, it is done. We are not going to be able to retrieve it. It is flying on that flight. Just because your bag tag shows CLT on it does not mean it was accidentally sent there. We often send bags through multiple cities as it will reunite you and your bag hours faster than the next direct flight. Sometimes, we even send it on other airlines that you never even flew on. We may even send it the other way around the globe. LAX to DXB, Dubai. You may have flown through London on British Airways, but the fastest way for me to send your bag may be through Seoul, South Korea on Delta and Korean Air. We try our best, but it's a question of volume, staffing, time, and technology. That reinforced glass and that security camera may not actually be unbreakable or being monitored or recorded, respectively. If you can see the monitor showing the camera feed, it doesn't actually mean it's being recorded. 2. These things can just be there to make people guess whether it actually works or not. Go ahead, roll that dice. People typically just go somewhere where there isn't a camera or glass. Instead, I worked as a retail manager in the past. A customer's attitude and approach is about 99% of the reason someone would help them solve a problem. Sale ended yesterday? Your return is past the date? You want a better price on a clearance item? Be a normal, kind person and you'll usually get your way. If you start off being shitty or demanding, then, sorry, I can't help you. It's store policy. Quote. We know all the websites you are visiting and all the rounds of Minesweeper you are playing while you are at your desk. But as long as you aren't doing anything illegal, we don't care. Your dog or cat is much more comfortable when you are there with them during euthanasia. It's really hard when people say, "It's too hard for me to be here with him," and leave the room for it. It is one of the hardest things ever. But they need you there with them. They look around for you sometimes. That being said, if we do the euthanasia without you, we always have one staff member whose only job during the procedure is to cuddle and comfort your pet and tell them how much their owner loves them. And what a good boy they are. My family owns a peach garden. Peaches are really delicate fruits. They're soft and watery, perfect for any insect to lay eggs. So you need to take good care of them. But sometimes the weather doesn't care about that and stuff might happen, so now all your peaches have bugs. What do? You can't sell spoilt peaches, but you need money. Sell them to juice companies for 5 cents a kilo. Enjoy your WOR peach juice. This isn't only for peaches, by the way, any sort of juice is like that. Closing parenthesis. Teacher here. I learned early on in the game that there are a lot of supplies we don't have to pay for if we just know where to look and how to ask nicely. Want to have a lesson about plants? Go to a grocery store, florist a few days ahead, and ask if they can set aside their dying flowers for your class. Need cardboard? Ask a store for their old boxes. I've even heard of my colleagues just going to stores and asking for donations and explaining why. And getting new stuff for free. It's amazing how much people are willing to go out of their way to help educate kids. Software developer. A lot of large financial systems are held together with duct tape code and have no real documentation or specifications. Also, there's a good chance that a large number of the staff are fresh out of uni and are just muddling along. I did my student placement at a major insurance software company which handled billions in transactions. At one point the entire support team was a single student with no oversight. Advertisers can show you ads that are related to what your wife, husband, girlfriend, etc. has been looking at online. If you have acknowledged your relationship, i.e. marital status on Facebook, and are often in the same location, advertisers assume you're talking about getting a bike or planning a trip, etc., and will serve you ads even if you haven't been the person looking them up. Edit: I should clarify, it's not down to the specific advertiser or brand that know all this information about you. And it's not associated with you as an individual, i.e. they don't know your name. But rather it's the program that collects data and sells ad space based on that data. Libraries throw away, pulp or otherwise recycle a lot of old books. We get a lot of awful, tatty stuff donated. We have old, manky books that we need to get rid of to make shelf space for newer stock. And we have standards for anything we sell off at library stock sales. It's just easier to throw things out. Sometimes things go to the workroom for repair or cleaning, straight in the bin. We do this because if customers knew, they might damage things that they wanted to buy from us. I can fix most people's computer issues by doing 3 things. 1. Run a free scan from Malwarebytes. 2. Open up msconfig. MSC from typing it in the Start menu. Then going over to all the services and startup items and turning off so much crap that is either a virus, says unknown, or a blank. For the manufacturer name, or unnecessary, you can Google if you don't know. Plus click the box that says Hide Microsoft to dumb it down a bit. 3. Make them a new user account that doesn't have admin rights. They'll need to put in an admin name and password when they really want to install things. No need to always be logged in as an admin. Clickbait will kill your PC. Then doing a few reboots. I teach this to family. It is not difficult to get super realistic details in CGI. I see people look at stuff like the stitching on shirts and how there's some fuzz on a peach or something like that in animated films. It looks impressive, but those details are super easy to make. Just slap on a normal map and a particle system. Of course some details like cobwebs are more complicated, but overall the tiny little things are just a texture or particle system. The actual hard stuff goes completely unrecognized if it's done well. Compliment the character rigging every now and then. It's much more difficult. Happy crying face. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.